Hey, your heads up to this longer podcast. The miracle question, is there such thing as miracles? Well, I don't know. Maybe there is. Come and have a listen, and I'll tell you all about the miracle question and what happens and how you can use it to make your life richer. Now that's got to be good, isn't it? And it also gets rid of anxiety, unconfidence, sadness, grief. A little thing like that. Just little things, okay? Have a listen after this.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
So, the miracle question, but we're not going to find out what it is yet, because I want to, see if you can resonate with this. You see, we have issues. I think everybody has an issue of some kind. And in this lovely world of personal development, we want to get rid of those issues and then move on. And guess what? We find more issues. Because we're always striving, aren't we, to find that little bit more richer life that we're here. And it's what we're here for, basically, isn't it? To have a richer life. Enjoy it. Now, here's a typical client situation. You see, I always ask, and you should be asking this yourself. Well, you should, sort of, if you've got an issue. I like to ask them a few questions about the issue, and then I'd go, well, hang on a minute. How will you know? How will you know when the problem's gone? How will you know when the issue's gone? And I go, ooh, haven't thought about that. I don't really know. And the thing is, if you don't know what it'll be like-ish, because you never know quite exactly what it is, but if you don't know quite how it's going to be when the issue is gone or you've changed and made the changes, how will you know you've changed? Because I think it's really good to recognize the changes that we make. We can celebrate them. Now, I've talked about that before. Celebrating the things that we do that are good for us and make us feel good. Because I think that just spreads outside and inside. But the thing is, if you don't know you changed, you might continue to keep trying to change. Why would you do that? Waste your time. But I do get it. Because sometimes we've got these issues and they're a little bit deeper, or we've been struggling with them for a little bit of a longer time than we'd want to. And because we're in the issue, we don't really know what it would be like to be outside it. I know I've worked with some people with real chronic depression who actually, I say, what would it be like? How will you know it's gone? They go, I really don't know. I said, well, maybe just a little bit happy. Maybe just that might help a little bit. Maybe an effect of getting rid of the issue. They go, I've never been happy. And because they're so deeply in that issue, they can't see the outside. And that's where the miracle question comes in. And basically the miracle question goes like this. And we're going to do it again. And I think we might even do it as a little process here with you. But the miracle question goes like this. And I don't know who created it. It certainly wasn't me. But it's a lovely thing to just think about. So you've got your issue today. And tonight you go to sleep. A dream. And during the night, this miracle happens. All the work you've done, all the change work, all the processes, all the thoughts you've had, suddenly that issue disappears. It's gone forever. The emotions, the behaviors, the limiting beliefs, all that stuff has disappeared because a miracle has happened overnight. Yay! Yay! I don't do that with my clients, but I do say, and a miracle has happened. And your issue has completely disappeared. How will you know? And guess what? Sometimes they don't tend to say, I don't know now, because I got them thinking, well, if it had gone, and they go, well, I wouldn't feel anxious anymore, and I wouldn't feel nervous, and I wouldn't have that negative self-talk or I wouldn't talk to myself in a bad way, and I go, what? Listen. In a gentle way, I say, just listen for a minute. The question was, how would you feel? And you've just told me how you wouldn't feel. I wouldn't feel anxious. And we know that because the miracles happened over bloody night. And virtually most people do this straight away. So I say, let's just go back again. Rewind. You wake up in the morning, the miracles happened. Boom. Everything has changed. How would you feel? How would you feel? And they go, well. And they start to tell me the type of things that they would feel. And then I would say something like, well, say in a couple of days' time from this session, and you woke up in the morning and you felt, and I just repeat the way they'd feel, then you know the issue's disappeared, wouldn't you? And some people need 3 times convincing, so they might have to wake up 3 days on the run or over a week. I'm a one-time convincer. If I can't do one thing now, and then I ended up being able to do it once, to me that's not a fluke. I can now do it. I just wasn't doing it properly the last time. Now I can do it. But some people tend to think, well, the first one may have been a fluke. Just happened. The second one, I'm still not sure, but the third one, yeah, we're there. So that's where we go. And that's why I want to talk to you about this, you see. You see, that's a general thing. And I do get more specific with my clients because they're generally saying, I've got this issue where I feel anxious all the time. And they don't. But it's generalized. So they are feeling more anxious about things in general because it's in different contexts, but it started in one context and it's generalized. We know that. So then I want to work on the specifics and then notice how that would change everything. And you see, if you only go for a general result or work on the general issue, you only get that general result. And who wants a general result? Wouldn't you like that specific result, that specific change in that one thing that really affected everything, that then let that generalize into all your other areas of your life, just like the problem started. Started small, then generalized. So I like to think we can get really specific. That old world, that lovely word, specificity. So if you have, let's just go through it together, because sometimes just even knowing what it would be like when the issue's gone, so you could recognize it. Because this is only a convincer, by the way. This convinces you that the issue is gone. And when you're convinced, man, you can expect wonderful things after that, can't you? Because the issue has gone. You've convinced yourself 3 times, 1 time, whatever convincer you want. As long as it's not a long time convincer, because then you'll never, ever, ever be convinced. And I want you to be convinced right now. So let's just play a game. Let's play a little game together. And if you have something, an issue, and it doesn't have to be the biggest one in the world, goodness me, no. Just a little one. There's something that just really just pees you off a little bit. And it just happens. And it has maybe generalized a little bit because, maybe I get a little bit ratty angry about this, and then I also take my anger out on that, or maybe we're just talking about me, Cluffy. Ooh, okay. Let's wind that one back in. But let's just think of a specific issue. So it's not just I generally get angry. No, in that specific, we're talking about me again, in that particular contextualized time, area of my life, things happen and I get X. So it could be at work. It could be with a social event, maybe a meeting, a presentation, maybe just being triggered at a particular time with a voice or whatever. But here's the thing. Just think, well, if there was just one issue that is really just a little bit more than I want, pick it and bring it to mind. Just for the moment. Because I need you to get to like feel it for a moment, just for a moment. So we can tell our unconscious mind this is the issue we're working at. We're not just talking about it, we want to feel it. So bring that little issue to mind. Be specific. Bring a specific memory to mind, maybe. So actually, yeah, do that. Do that. And as you do that, notice the emotion that it brings up. Notice that emotion, and you don't have to do anything with it. Just notice the feeling. You don't have to put a label on it if you don't want to. You just go, oh, I can feel it now. This is the feeling that I have in that context, in that particular specific issue. Oh, I can notice how I behave, and it could be the way I talk. Could be the way I move around. Anything. Just notice your behaviors. Maybe there's some little bit of sulking. Maybe there's, that passive aggression. And if you could, when you get that thought of your beliefs, or if you get that thought and feeling, what is the belief that's going on here? If you could. It's nice to know the belief, but if you can't get it, don't worry about it. But just notice the emotion, your behaviours, maybe the way you talk to yourself inside as well. The things you think about, the pictures you make in your mind. Now, before we find out that better way, because we will, we can use the miracle question. And you see, as you think of that, imagine just knowing the answer to this question will start to allow you to be different. Now, so bring that thought to mind again, and then you just imagine this, or consider. You go to sleep tonight, and you have a lovely sleep, and you dream the dreams, but over that period of sleep, natural, normal sleep, that miracle happens. There's some adjustments, there's some integrations, there's some learnings. Your unconscious mind does all the things it needs to do in order to let go of that issue, because it's not working, is it? We know it's not working, your unconscious mind is not working, and we're working on a more appropriate solution. So you wake up in the morning. You wake up, a little stretch, and you realise the miracle has happened. The miracle has happened. And that issue has completely disappeared. So how would you be different? How would you feel differently? What are the pictures you'd make in your mind as you look forward to the day, the week ahead? What type of belief would you have about yourself if you did know that belief? Even if you just have to imagine, well, I'd believe this about myself. And remember, these are all in the positive now. Nothing to do with the issue. How would you feel? What type of behaviors would you start to have now this miracle has happened overnight? And just notice maybe what you'd think, what you'd see it now. Maybe you'll just notice the way you could think about acting. That acting as if, but that acting as if wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? To act as if the miracle has happened. How would you act? How would you be? Because when you're acting that way and how you're believing that way and with those emotions that way, then there couldn't be the issue, could there? And guess what? You've got all those inside you now. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be able to think about and feel them right now. You wouldn't be able to think about and see yourself acting as if. We've talked about that so many times. Now, here's the thing. Now you've got an idea what it would be like. Haven't you? What it will be like. Nearly. When that issue completely disappears right now, as you sleep and dream. And now, let's just take it even further, because this is where the miracle question doesn't go, or doesn't go any further. And I use it with a client, but in a different way, but same thing. We're going to start to think, well, if the issue's disappeared and I'm going to act in these different ways, believe in these different, have these self-beliefs about myself differently, acting as if, having those emotions, behaviours, I wonder, and this is a great thing to do, just wonder now, wonder, and wander in your mind. Wonder, imagine, with this new way, what new opportunities would come my way? Maybe what new ideas would be free to come to me now, for me to access? What new dreams would bubble up now I'm free to be this way now? Maybe you could just imagine the feeling, the emotion of having those opportunities, having those new ideas come your way, having those new dreams bubble up and acting upon them because you can. How would that really how would they really make you feel? And feel it. And as you feel it, I don't know where the direction of your future is. And if you were to know, just imagine a direction of your future. Imagine that feeling being sent into your future. Just imagine it just dropping into your future. All those wonderful opportunities. How would it colour and enrich the timeline of your future? And notice as you do that, how you feel now. Feel it now. Feel it right now. And now, having done that, we can just get on with our lives, can't we? No, we're going to get on with our lives, but we're going to start those dreams, those opportunities, those ideas, those creations, those just being a better version of ourselves, the better version of ourselves, stretching to be even better than that, to enrich our lives, to make our lives so rich. And here's the thing. If you ever in the future, if you do, and I'm sure things come along, if you ever feel a little anxious in the future, or maybe a little unconfident about a thing, a person, an event, that's causing you, those things that just cause you to feel a little nervous, a little unconfident about life. Or take any negative emotion, maybe grief, maybe jealousy, maybe, sadness, maybe a little bit of fear. You can do this again. And it'd probably take about 5 minutes. Remember, just imagine noticing what the feelings are right now in the present. Then imagine if you went to bed, go to sleep, the natural sleep, your unconscious mind integrates all the new learnings to find a better way. Or better ways, because you need better ways of flexibility. And then noticing what it would be like. Now that issue's gone, how you'd be different. Be different now. And all in 5 minutes. So the thing is, instead of just like preparing for the worst, as we do sometimes when we get those little feelings, and we let them run out of control with those pictures in our minds, the voice in our head and all that shit that goes on, and then normally something like that, well, it doesn't happen in a good way, does it? We can now, as soon as it comes, we can prepare to succeed and feel good. There you go. I just thought I'd share that with you. It's a question that I use a lot with my clients, and I learnt this years and years ago. I'm sure the guy who wrote it in a book is called Rubin, but I don't know if his surname's Rubin or his first or second name's it's Rubin something. And it came from some Ericksonian hypnotherapy. Supposedly. I don't know whether it is. But I don't care, do we? But the one thing I do care about is so simple. So simple. Because we know in simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
And everything we're doing is thinking about how it will be in the future when things are gone. And then that will bring it into the now. Because we're saying overnight. Because I want you to feel, Cluffy, I can get this now. Yeah, that's how I want you to feel. I can get this now. And this is where it's so important that you catch yourself. You catch yourself if you find you're thinking about what you don't want, change it immediately. Think of what you do want and feel the difference. Feel what it would be like to have what you do want. Because that feeling goes a long way. It goes a long way inside, and your unconscious mind now knows the direction to go to help you find that way. And again, I'm saying this more and more. If the only thing, the worst that can happen, the most negative effect of this can be you feel good. And I just like feeling good, don't you? Feeling good's good. And it spreads, it radiates, it's good for you. It makes other people around you feel good. And when that happens, little old planet Earth gets those good vibrations again. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. I really do. It's so simple. I'd love you to just think about that. Maybe, again, I might even do a hypnosis process on that. I've got a lot of might do's, haven't I? But I do need to know from you if you do, because I don't want to spend my time doing stuff that no one's going to listen to. If you do, just email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged. And as a favour to me, your old Cluffy, your old mate, your mucker, as some people call it in this southern part of England, if you could share this episode, just share your thoughts and tell people about the Personal Development Unplugged podcast to just let it grow just a little bit so more and more people can get infected and affected by good stuff, good vibes, good intentions. And we all know when we put out good stuff for no reason, share stuff for no reason at all, other than to share, obviously, no reason. I mean, no wanting payback for anything. That's the reason I'm thinking about it. There's no reason you don't want anything in return. The old law of reciprocity will come and dump goodness and richness on you. And what a lovely thing to be dumped upon, or be dumped with. So let's go dumping stuff, shall we? Until the next time, my friend, have more fun than you can stand. Because it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.